believe that you should just leave the south domain, which has a lot of community recreation facilities on it, just left as open space when you have these other ones shaded.
Sorry, what have we missed off the south domain? I'm struggling to think.
Well, you've got a playground there, a very expensive playground. You've got a train station.
But it's purely public space the whole time. We're trying to identify those elements which are related in some way to community buildings or the reserve, but haven't got the same status as the permanent public space out there. And that is your bowling greens, and it is your courthouse, and it is your tennis court.
Righto, Mr. Gibbs. The tennis court, everybody was happy with. The bowling green will stay the same. The courthouse and the police station, put a little square around it, and I don't care whether you paint it canary pink or white, canary yellow. Do it, and let's get on with life. Councillor McKelvey.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. And the other one that we have to tackle here, which is difficult, is the issue of this road called Lake Terrace, going between Titi Raupanga Street and Tongariro Street, and then the Tongariro Street from its link with Lake Terrace through to Whai Street, because we have stated that will continue, traffic will continue to flow, and here it says low key road. In other parts of the document that we've been through, it says that it's really important that that road remains open for visitor traffic, and that other stuff perhaps goes on to Titi Raupanga Street, but I don't think that this clearly shows what is intended in the text. There is some mismatch, and there is nothing in the text that says that the road will curve, Lake Terrace will combine with Robert Street. There's nothing in the text to say that. So I don't know why it's like that. And I don't know
Before you go there, guys, before you go there, where the Tongariro Street starts at the end of Whai Street and comes around the corner and does a wiggle in Robert Street, is that what we decided was going to stay as? Or not, or you're going to keep the same alignment that's currently there now?
We never heard any discussion that alignment that's been sitting there in the draft plan was going to change. So we haven't changed.
Councillors, is that correct or not?
I don't agree with that.
There's no resolution
So the wiggle stays there?
No. Bearing in mind the wiggle is purely an indicative change to the existing alignment.
Well, I'm getting two mixed messages here. I will ask the question again. You know, I'm going to see my year-old grandson in Sydney on Saturday. He might give me a better answer. The question is, that wiggle road that's currently there from Tongariro Street to Whai, and it comes around and it does a wiggle into Robert Street up to the red and back. Is that what we decided the road was going to remain as? A yes or no question will do, answer will do. Simple, please.
Yes.
No.
You see my point?
Yeah, but you're asking,
I'm getting a yes, and then now I'm getting a no.
Chairman, may I just tell you that there's a group of people downtown about
I don't care who's down
watching. Webcam absolutely wetting themselves.
Well, that's brilliant.
Keep enjoying.
Now they know what sort of job I got.
And it's very good, I must say.
You told me, Mr. Carroll, that the answer to my question was it was going to stay as it is here, and you said yes. Councillor Varg and Councillor McKelvey said no. You first, Councillor McKelvey. Why did you say no?
I'm referring to the minutes of the plan, discussions and deliberations, page 55, Mr. Chairman.
On the minutes?
Yes. The amended confirmed minutes that some members in council today were not here to assist at the time, so they probably don't remember it. Page 55.
Yes.
When the resolution reads, when the concept plan is developed for Tongariro Street, it should address the need to maintain traffic flow in both directions while also seeking to improve pedestrian amenity through wider footpaths and landscaping treatments. It will provide for enhanced pedestrian movement across the road and create a stronger connection between the Tongariro Domain community facilities and the central business district. Correct. And then the reasons are, Tongariro Street is a critical transport corridor. It has historically acted as a major through route, however its function will change once it becomes a local road. So the point is it remains a local road. And we talked about that at length.
No one's disagreeing
Point
with
B, and this is where I think this is where the interesting part is. There are a range of interrelated factors that will influence the final design of Tongariro Street. Elements include pedestrian crossing points, the requirements of events, the needs of the mobility impaired, and vehicle parking all have different design solutions which need to be investigated in detail through an inclusive design process. I'm suggesting that we did not make any definitive determination that Tongariro Street would become a low-key road.
Agreed.
That's how I read it.
Where's your point?
Well, the
We're
point
talking
is...
about.
Hang on, Councillor
Through you,
Robert
Mr
Street.
Chairman.
Councillor Downard.
Through you, Mr Chairman. Councillor Downard has just agreed with me that there's no point there about Tongariro Street becoming a low-key road, and yet, on page 19, from Turangi-Tongariro Street to a new link to Robert Street, it is a low-key road, and that's why I have said no.
So, Mr Carroll, the way I understood it, what Councillor McKelvey has said and what Councillor Downard agreed with, that's the impression that I was left under.
Yep.
Now, and I couldn't find the resolution on page 55 because it would appear that you've got a white colour and we've got a pink colour and it's different. Councillor Gathergood.
Mr Chair, on page 54 of my pink copy, it says Tongariro Street is a critical transport corridor. It has historically acted as a major through route. However, its function will change once it becomes a local road.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct.
Mr Chair.
Hang on.
Not a low-key road.
Not a low-key road.
Not a low-key road.
Doesn't actually state that, but its function will change once it becomes a local road.
That's
Well,
right.
surely, in here, future development pattern for the town centre, it could become a low-key road.
Doesn't say that. And as far as I'm concerned, sitting here, and I don't know whether you were here that day, I remember it quite explicit that you are correct, the resolution is correct, because it ain't a local road at the present time, it's a state highway. Right? And everything goes down it. When it changes, it will change to a local road, like as if you were driving up Spa Road or Titi-Raupinga Street or Tamamutu Street. That is a local road. And I thought that's how it was going to stay, that black line would continue all the way along there until we took it over. And that's how I understood it to be. Now, Councillor Downard, you had your hand up.
I think the confusion has been, and yes, I was here through the whole of the commercial structure plan, was Tamamutu Street, as far as I'm concerned, when we were doing discussions on that, was the whole of Tamamutu Street, where when I was looking at it, it's gone from where it stops there on Turangi-Tongariro Street instead of down by Robert Street. So that's where the confusion is with me personally, because when we were talking about Tongariro Street, I thought it was, Tongariro Street, I thought it was a whole street. And that's something that I probably didn't pick up on the plan. I don't think anyone else has, because that's where Mr Gibbs and Nick had come from, is saying that because there was no discussion on that Robert Street, it was a foregone conclusion that it was going to stay in there like that.
But that's not how I understood it. Mr Carroll, you'll be putting your hand up and down, up and down. I'm going to let you come in here. Because at the end of the day, that line will stay like that or it'll go back to the black line. And that's going to happen very quickly, I can assure you. What were you going to say?
I think we understand where the different parts of the discussion are coming from. From our perspective, we can't see any reason why that line cannot change from what it currently is to a black line.
On the original thing. And that's how I understood
on
it.
the alignment that's currently sitting there?
Thank you.
No.
That's different.
Councillor Fagan?
Yeah, I do recall the discussions that we had in here, and they were many, and it did involve about the cycle races and having the big curve in the middle and what it would do to them, and that decision to move that line into a curved line was not made.
That's right. So I understood it. Councillor Kelly?
Yes, I'd just like to support that, and I think that the staff came up with an excellent resolution, which I've just quoted,
Yeah, but we
which
haven't got the
says
number.
at the end, page
We don't know where it is.
It's 54.
I've got it on 55. I just happen to have a white copy. You've got a pink copy. It's exactly the same. The page references are slightly different. But the clever part of this resolution is the last bit, which says, in the reason which need to be investigated in detail through an inclusive design process. Now, that inclusive design process includes, as I understood it, the development of the public space at the end of the laneway that takes in part of Roberts Street, it takes in part of Colonel Roberts Reserve, and that whole thing had to be done together, and therefore I believe that not only should it be a black line until we get further down the process, but the alignment should be the same as it is now, because we never discussed and we never determined that Lake Terrace should feed into Roberts Street, which then feeds into Tongariro Street. It was understood that the discussion was on the current alignment.
All right, guys, that wiggly line now is going to go back to a solid black line as it currently sits out there now.
Thank you.
You all agree?
Yes.
Righto. Now, is there anything else on this map? Forever hold your breath.
Have we had a conclusion about this event space?
The pizza?
No, the event space.
Oh, you mean the dark green to the light green?
Yeah, the dark green to the light green, and also the...
Well, the quickest way I'm going to solve this...
Just take it out.
Just do whatever she wants.
As it currently sits, who's happy with it as it currently sits? Put your hand.
With which? Hang on, with what?
That ledger down there, because you spoke for 25 minutes and my patience is wearing thin. That logo down there, the dark green one, events focused dedicated community event space, and the light green open space, as it currently sits on that map on the northern end, apart from the changes where I've suggested the police station and that be identified as a different colour. You understand what I'm talking about? I'm going to take a quick poll, straw vote. Hands up who wants the colours to say exactly as they are. Put your hands up, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 with Gary. Hands up that don't want some change.
We've got a majority. 4.
That's it. Right, is there anything else on this map?
Well, Mr. Chairman, then we'll have to... Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
You're going to have to change your text then.
Well, what part of the text do you want changed? Mr. Carroll is frowning. He wrote it, him and Mr. Gibbs.
Well, all I'm suggesting is that I'm happy for the staff to finalise this to be consistent all the way through, but the maps and plans need to be consistent with the text, so one or other has to change, because the event space clearly talks about Riverside Park and the amphitheatre, and something's going to have to give.
Right, Mr.
Otherwise,
Carroll,
we're going to give mixed messages to the community.
take note of that, please. Right, is there anything else that we've missed today?
Oh, there was another map somewhere. There was another map. You said we'd park till the end.
Can I just make one suggestion that might help everybody? This might help Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Carroll not having to do this consistency.
Yes.
If the heading for that map was slightly different, that would allow a little bit of flexibility in the text.
Yes, what is it?
As it reads, future development pattern for the town centre, it's cut and dried and it's in black and white. And I'm suggesting you put proposed, because all of that is subject to a whole lot of other processes.
You guys happy with that?
Yeah.
No staff?
So we were just talking about the alignment of Lake Terrace being shown as it currently is on this map and removing Roberts Street.
No, I'll tell you exactly afterwards. I'll draw it for you.
But the point is, you either show it exactly the way it is now, which is going straight around,
Yes.
with Robert Street coming in around,
Yes.
or you show it how it might be subject to the detailed master plan.
No, we want the first one.
We want the first one.
Right. So nothing. So this plan.
Nothing's changed.
So this is an existing plan, no longer a structure plan for the future, giving some guidance to planning.
That's how I
So we're
understood
not
it.
doing any development down there at all. That's what we're doing, isn't it?